Hello, what's this week's Devil the Detail podcast? I'm Rob Paxton, and we're here talking all things Salford Red Devils. Joining me the show this week, as ever, we've got Paul Whiteside. Paul, how's your week been, mate?
Hey Rob, yeah, I've been good, thank you, very good. Just busy at work, like I say, every week, and just chilling really now tonight after work, and looking forward to my holiday next week. I'm going on holiday next week, so having a few days off. I'm working Saturday, so I'm going a day late. I'm meeting the family up near Bamburgh Castle, where we're going for a few days off and walk the dog and things like that. So I'm looking forward to a bit of rest time, and then come back on Saturday and watch the Challenge Cup final next Saturday. So yeah, living the rock and roll lifestyle. I'm not going sitting on the beach, which I'd like to do, but a bit of family time, which is good.
Yeah, I had a Eurovision party at weekend, Paul. We go big with Eurovision. What's your views on Eurovision?
I've never really watched it. I used to watch it every now and again when my gran was alive, because my gran used to like that, and we used to watch that on a Saturday night with her. And Terry Wogan used to present it, I think. So you're talking in the 90s, I think, there. But no, what did I do on Saturday night? I can't remember what I did now. What did I do Saturday night? Oh, watched a bit of boxing Saturday night. Yeah, I've been working, so it was a late. I didn't know it was on though, because I believe we were one of the favourites, weren't we, for it? And
yeah,
I can't remember the lad's name now, but he said he was like a YouTuber.
Is he called Sam Ryder?
You're asking me there. Yeah. I'm not too sure now, but how did he go on? Did he
finished?
We didn't win it, did we?
No, we finished second behind Ukraine. We were in front until they had the crowd that like the world votes through the telephone, but then Ukraine got the sympathy vote, which is fair enough because they're at war, aren't they, with Russia? So they won by about 400. But I think in another day we could have won that. I think it was the Bulgarians. I think it was like they had a bit of a all the drums going in and all that. It was fantastic. So yeah, good stuff. And then yesterday I went to town went to a podcast kind of workshop how to improve our interview techniques. And Paul, we do quite well, really. I learned a bit, but we do most of it already.
Good, you probably had a better day than me. I just had a right nightmare day at work. But yeah, it's good to learn things, isn't it? Anything that you can pick up to make the show better is good. Any sort of tips you can learn off people. So there's always someone who knows a bit more than you. I've learned that with my job. You always listen and soak things up, and it's the best thing you can do.
Yeah. So there's loads to go on this week. We're going to look at all the matches we got in relation to our clubs. We've got all the big news coming out of the club this week. We've got Whiteside's Worlds of Rugby League. See what's going on in the World of Rugby League with Paul. And then we're going to preview all the games for our clubs this week. So we'll start with the Leeds win. So Salford Devils were victorious against Leeds Rhinos. They won 23 points to 8, Paul. What a great result for Paul Rowley's men.
It was a result that was much needed, wasn't it? We spoke about the run of form that we were in and what have you. And I think both sides were desperate for the win, really. So I thought we came out with the right attitude, and we sort of brought him the performance and the intensity levels that we displayed at St Helens, and Wigan in those two really brave performances, and put it into practice against Leeds. And don't think they lived with us at all, really. I thought we probably bombed a few chances, but what impressed me more than anything was the defence. I thought the defence was absolutely outstanding, because if you look at the penalty count, I think it was 13-7 or something like that to Leeds, and they had a lot of that ball and territory in our sort of 20-25, didn't they? So they had a lot of ball on the line. I've not seen the stats of how many play the balls they had in our half, but I bet it was a lot. And the amount of goal line defence with them. I mean, look at the try-saving tackles. Watkins, Cross, and Croft got one. Brierley and Sneed in the first half. So defence wins your matches, doesn't it? And I think it won us that one.
Yeah, talk about the game winning tackles. You kind of forget about them as the season go on, but the Watkins one, like you said, the Dion Cross one in the corner saved certain tries, and it kind of shows that if he doesn't make that tackle, it changes everything. And us to win that game against Leeds, them tackle need to be made, and it proves obviously these big players can do big things in big moments.
They certainly can, and I mean, people have said this season, me included, about the pack not being big enough and things like that. And I thought our pack on Sunday stood up and roasted Leeds. Really, they couldn't live with us. And some of the tackles in that second half. I think there was one on Richie Miley returning the ball, and he absolutely flattened him. And it was a fair tackle, legitimate tackle, and that's what you're asking for. You're asking for that intensity level and that sort of toughness in defence. I mean, Brodie Croft. I mean, that lad. Defensively, attackingly, he played. I think that's his best game for Salford. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. He was in everything, and looked a real leader. So I couldn't argue with it at all. I couldn't really pick a man of the match. I said to my dad, sort of in the last 15 minutes, I hope Croft gets it because of the way he's played, and he did. And I thought he'd get it, but he could have gone to a whole host of players because it was a real professional performance.
Yeah, got some long-term injuries back as well. Tim Laffey back, Harville a vet. Fantastic performance from both of them.
It was great to see Harville Vet come back, and he didn't look like he'd been away really. He set up a try, got a good offload out in the first half. He's very, very dangerous offloading the ball. He's a very solid player as well, very good defensively. And I know when I saw the team, the squad in the week, I thought, perhaps Paul Rowley just filled it with those players just to make the numbers up. Didn't think half of them were going to be playing them. When I saw the team sheet, I thought, wow, it's great to see the likes of Joe Burgess back, Tim Laffey back, Elijah Taylor back. There's still a few other players to come back as well, isn't there? So I think once we've got that first choice side out like we're getting now, we can win a match for anybody. We really are, and he's positive now, looking up the table rather than worrying about relegation and things like that, because we've got the quality to trouble teams in that league.
Yeah. Like I say, Brodie Croft and Max Need back in action together, pulling the strings, causing chaos in that Leeds defence. I've also got to highlight Amir Burrow. I thought he was amazing at loose forward, playing well above his weight, making inroads, and what a difference he makes when he comes on and plays like that.
He's a cracking little character as well. I noticed that when he played at St Helens the other week on his debut, he doesn't take a backward step. He's only a young kid, but he doesn't take any jip off anybody. He's got a bit of a niggly edge to him, which is good, which is what you want. He's a competitor, and you don't take that away from him. There's nothing of him, but real good tough nut he is, and I like him. I like his attitude as well. I thought Ryan Brierley came back and he was outstanding. I thought he's so brave, Ryan Brierley. A few people criticised him earlier in the season, but I think he's a really tough kid. He really is, and he was out with rib injury, wasn't he? I didn't think he'd come back for this game, but he links in the line so well with Croft and Sneed, and that sort of triangle of players there, it caused Leeds problems all afternoon.
Yeah, and I thought second half in the arm wrestle, we played fantastic. We traded sets, no silly errors, no penalties, proper discipline. Paul Rowley would have been chuffed with that. Yeah,
he would. I thought there was a lot of penalties in the game on a whole. Not criticising the referee. I think it was the same for both sides, really. But sometimes I think referees probably should just let the game flow a bit more, because it does make it a bit stop and start. It's hard for teams to get a foot in the game. So, but that aside, I thought our defence was very, very solid. We looked like a real team on Sunday. We really did. That's one of our best performances, particularly at home, we've played this season. We never really looked in any trouble. I mean, when you played Leeds in the past, we've probably been hanging on saying, oh God, we need another try, or we need to score next. But we managed the game superbly, and the drop goal for me summed it up. I mean, it just took that game away from Leeds. Got 3 scores in front. Everything they did was right, and I thought Leeds were lucky to get 2 tries. Really, I mean, the one they got in the first half probably come from Joe Burgess throwing out an absolute hospital pass. I mentioned that to him on the interview, and he mentioned to me it was windy, but I think he was tired from one of the runs that he'd done. But that gifted Leeds a try. But other than that, they never really battered us. Zach Hardacre came in. I thought we muscled up against him all afternoon, and never let them get going. I mean, Blake Austin, he's a big name halfback, but you wouldn't have even known he was on the field. They just kept him quiet and did the job.
Yeah, obviously talking about Joel Burgess, here you are talking to him, Jack Ormondroyd and me talking to Ryan Brierley after the game.
So I'm joined by Ryan Brierley. What a great win that was.
Yeah, good. I think it's been coming, if I'm honest. I think our last 2 performances, even though we've not got the win, probably showed some good signs and a bit of a blueprint for us. So delighted, just more of the relief that we get the reward for the good stuff we've been doing. It's nice.
Yeah, you've had obviously a few tough weeks against tough opposition. Do you think that helped in this game against Leeds?
I'm not sure about the opposition. It was more. Listen, I'm not going to explain what we've changed.
No, because that'll give it away. You don't do that.
Yeah, but ultimately there's something working for us, what we're really happy with. So again, we've found a bit of a blueprint in how to play a certain way. So we're happy.
Yeah, obviously tried today for you. What an impressive try as well, under the post in front of the south stand. No, what a moment.
Yeah, again, I suppose it's probably most of the rugby league community won't know how much that probably means to
against Leeds as well.
Yeah. It's sort of stuff you dream about, I suppose, and yeah, to see my family witness that as well. It's special in that. I always said, like, rugby league doesn't give you a lot of things, but it gives you a lot of memories, and that for me will go a long way, and ultimately delight. But more so that the 2 points we spoke before the game about weren't really too fussed how we performed. Other than the 2 points, they were critical today.
Yeah, obviously now opportunity now to kick on, win today and win next weekend. Cass, words are oyster, innit?
Yeah, of course, and that's how we'll take it, obviously game by game. I know it's the old cliche, but Super League comes at you thick and fast, as you know. There's just games obviously being thrown everywhere, and obviously we had a bit of adversity against us. I don't know if Rowles had mentioned it, but there was a bit of a sickness bug in the camp, and players being pulled out left, right, and centre. So to get that win, they're the special ones. I think it shows there's a unity in the team and as a group, and great bunch of lads here. We get on really well, and it's nice to be a part of. But I think it's important that them wins when you're not playing your absolute best, and you've got all the excuses in the world not to perform, not to give your all, and to be so dominant in a game against such a quality team is it's pleasing.
Makes that second half even more impressive now than all the people who were on the sick. Most of us, if I'm honest, were struggling. I was hanging on for dear life there at the end, but it was that they're the special, and when you obviously come to the end of the season, you don't really remember a lot of stuff. But I think this is one you'll remember just because of the pure circumstances that. Let's be honest, it was all pointed towards a Leeds win today. Like, new coach, obviously a lot of fans turned out for him. Obviously a lot of enthusiasm from their team, and we knew that was coming. So that's what, for me, that makes our win more impressive. The fact that we had no right to win the game. Everyone was sick, everyone poorly. And mate, listen, if we'd have lost the game, no one would have mentioned the excuse, and I think that's what Rowles has brought into us. And I always say, like, this project is going to take a long time, if I'm honest. That we're showing glimpses of certain things, certain glimpses of what we can do, but it's going to take time, and that's where you find the consistency. But ultimately, we've got a great group who are going to work hard for each other. Brilliant. Thanks, Fran.
Delighted to say Jack Ormondroyd joins me. Big performance against your old club. Good to get the result today. You must be pleased with that.
Yeah, really pleased. Yeah, it's the second time obviously beaten this year at home. It's a really good feeling. Yeah, I think especially today we needed the win as well. Really, so it's a massive game. I've got put a good performance in and come away with the win.
Obviously, you had 2 defeats away from home, Wigan and St Helens, where you put everything into those games. Did you bring that intensity in today? Because it felt like defence was outstanding today.
Yeah, we've talked about it in training the last couple of weeks. I think that's us now. I think that's the standard we've set ourselves, and I don't think we can't drop below that level now. If we play that level every week, I think we'll do all right from now on.
You've got Castleford at home next Friday, short turnaround. Is this the sort of pivotal time of the season now? Is that what you're speaking about in the change room? Because it's obviously looking up the table rather than down.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think, like I say, we've had 2 good performances with Wigan and Saints, and not managed to come away with any points. We had a couple of weeks off, and we've had a bit of a. We've talked about it quite a bit, saying, like I just said, that's sort of that's us now. So hopefully we can keep on putting these performances in, and we'll be looking up the table rather than down. Yeah.
Did you feel that week off last week benefited you as a club, really? Because there was some battered and bruised bodies after the St Helens game, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, we played 4 games in however many days, so it's going to help in having a couple of weeks off. I think we had a bit of time off, so I think that's helped as well. Everybody come back refreshed. Had a good week's training leading up to the Leeds game this week, and then put a good performance in, so I think it's just going to give us a bit of confidence going forward now.
You're in good form yourself as well, running the ball in hard, tackling well. You must be pleased with the way you're playing at the moment, personally as well.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I've gone from a couple of years ago not really playing much to playing every week now, so I think it's just up to me now to keep putting decent performances in and playing as well as I can, really, and hopefully keep getting that too.
Well done today, mate. Thanks very much for speaking to us.
No worries, mate.
Right, we're joined by Joel Burgess. Nice to get back to the AJ Bell Stadium, mate. You got on the score sheet as well. Did you enjoy that today?
I did. Enjoyed it. I've been out for now about 3 or 4 weeks, so I definitely felt it in the second half because I was, let's just say, I was blowing at my backside.
Has it been a frustrating time for you this season? Because you've looked good in the matches, then you've had to miss a couple, haven't you? You've not been able to get a consistent run of form in the team.
I got five or 6 games under my belt. Then I got a bit of a niggle. So now hopefully I can keep fit. We've got a game next week and then we've got another gap week. So I should be alright for the rest of the season now. I should be flying if I can keep myself fit.
How did that gap week do you? Because St Helens game away, great performance, but patched up side. Did that do you really good, that having that week off, that week rest?
It did, but it didn't. I really wanted to play Wigan and Saints, to be honest. I was frustrated, so I was just training hard all week so I can get back out there with the boys and get the 2 points.
You definitely not an half back though. That pass you chucked out to get Did he get in trouble with that off Paul Rowley?
It was windy.
It was a bit windy. I know.
He's not saying anything yet, but I imagine it'll get pulled up.
That'll be in the video tomorrow. It was good to get on the score sheet again. You showed a bit of pace there in that to score as well. You had a good finisher, aren't you? I think we've said a few times this season. Are you looking at getting into that World Cup team? Is that an ambition of yours?
In the past few years, I've always said I want to get on the England team at the end of the year. This year, I'm not even thinking about it. I just want to enjoy playing again and playing as many games as I can. And I know if I put 100% effort in, I'll have a good chance of getting there. But to be honest with you, I'm not thinking about it. I just want to enjoy playing and getting some wins.
How important is it now to carry the momentum from today to catch up for next week? You've got another home game, short turnaround Friday night. Is that something you're looking forward to, getting another win now?
100%. We got a good result against them first game of the season, so hopefully we can back that up at our ground. Short turnaround, so we've got to look at ourselves over the next few days and we're ready to go again at the AGL.
Thanks for speaking to us, mate.
Thank
All
you.
the best next week.
Thank you.
Talking about how he's back playing rugby now, obviously suffering with the injuries of the last couple of weeks, and he's glad to be back on the field.
Yeah, he's a quality player, and as you call him, a Rolls Royce winger, and he's a very confident man. He's got that touch of class about him as well, haven't you? He, like you said it before, he glides down the pitch, and good, quick wingers are like that. He's a joy to watch, Joe Burgess. I really, really like him, and as he gets better and plays in the team more and drier grounds and all that, I think he'll start scoring the tries. I mean, Ken Seo's try ratio at Salford is absolutely out of this world. He plays for Salford and he scores, doesn't he? You can rely on him every week. If you're a betting man, get money on him to score a try any time because he'll get one for you. So yeah, and Jack Ormondroyd as well. I think he's another form man. I mean, I mentioned to Joe Burgess about the World Cup. Jack Ormondroyd, he could push his way into that England squad. He's a really big man. He's dead aggressive. He's dead good in defence. If he can carry on, the form, he could be in with a shout. Maybe not if he doesn't get in the World Cup. Maybe the England Knights team, because he's as good as anybody in that squad. Then he's huge as well. He's taller than me, so he's a nice lad as well. Good to speak to them, and it was good for you to speak to Brierley as well. Another good lad.
Yeah, Ryan Brierley spoke to me about obviously the moment he scores the winning try against Leeds in front of the South Stand, in front of his family, and how much it means to him, and it's kind of wondering whether it's how you imagined it would be, and he was like, yeah, it's that and more, which is special because obviously rugby league is about making memories, and big moments like that will sticks in the mind for him and his family.
Yeah, he certainly does it, and I can't sing Ryan Brierley's praises highly enough. I mean, I noticed on Sunday when we were having a chat and coming out, he was still there talking to supporters. He makes a lot of time for people. He's very patient. He's always having time for kids and having autographs and that. And he's been really good with my Imogen as well. Every time he's seen her, he's had his pictures took with her and said hi. And that means a lot to kids. I've got him to thank really for getting her hooked to rugby league, because when she first started going this season, I think it was him that had influenced her a bit, really. And I think that's great. I mean, it's the same when I was a kid, sort of Tex Evans, Gibbo, they influenced me, and you'll have your same, you'll have your heroes as well. And he's a good lad. And I think it's special when players are living the dream of playing for the side they supported as a boy as well. And, Ryan, you can see in his performances, he's been sensational.
Yeah, I spoke to Paul Rowley in the press conference after the game, and this is what he had to say.
Second half was a real armour, so you must be proud of your boys' performance in that second half.
Yeah, just again character. I'm going to cough now. I've not got a flu, but got a little cold. So yeah, they hung in, if you like, and found a way to do it, and that's what you have to do sometimes in rugby, and they did it.
Yeah, and obviously getting Harvey Levitt back, and Tim Laff, that extra bit of quality makes a big difference, doesn't it? 100%.
Said that loads of times, whether it be making the final pass or making a tackle on a one-on-one. There's big bodies. Harvey hit a couple of good lines that went clean through, that set up tries, so it is quality at the end of the day, and usually makes a big difference in tight games.
Obviously the last few weeks we've had some tough games. How big of a win was that?
Massive really, because you there are a lot of eyes on Leeds today and what their story was, so I think we've been quietly going about our business, and obviously it's our ground, so we're not going to sit here and be the bridesmaid. in this one, and fair play to the lads that, you know, that through adversity they stood up and they did the talking through their actions, and but we had some good leaders on the field, but yeah, they were good today.
I mean, Borough played loose forward for a good 20 minutes. That was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's Amir. He probably epitomises what we're about as a group. He would have done whatever I asked him to do. So, albeit he's not very good at banging the drum and the team song. His coordination's pretty poor. But other than that, he's
Cast next week. Got to be confident going to that.
Again, always confident. So we just need to see what we've got left of troops. We're very low and got some more today as well. So it doesn't get any easier.
So that was Paul Rowley talking to me after the game, Paul, and he said it was a big win for the team, with everything going on, with the sickness bug going round and Toulouse winning.
Yeah, it was a big win. It was to beat Leeds twice in a season, I've not seen that very often in my lifetime, and neither of you have you. So we've just got to go and win the treble now and go and win at their place, haven't we? But I think it was a bit of a crossroads game for us. I said that to a few people. I think if Leeds had won, they'd have pulled away from us, wouldn't they? They'd been 3 points in front. It was a good win for us with Toulouse beating Wakefield. We've not got to worry about Wakefield and Toulouse. I think we've got to start looking at the table now. We'll probably mention later the Cass game. That's another winnable match for us now. We've got a lot of home games coming up, and we've got to start winning games. And we could go on a real good run. So I'm confident of that. We've got the players. We've showed that in the last three matches we've played in.
Yeah, looking at the stats, Paul, top tacklers, Watkins with 33, Ackers with 28, Tyler Duperry, who made his debut, who was impressive in the period he played. He made 24 tackles. King Bunny Ayawa 25 and Harvey Livette 28.
Yeah, there was a lot of hard work done there. I think Danny Addy's a player that needs a bit of a mention as well. I thought he worked really hard when he was on the pitch, and always looks like he's carrying injuries and niggles. His knees always strapped up and that, but he works hard. And yeah, there's probably players there that I've not mentioned as well. Who else was I going to mention? I can't remember now. Who was I going to mention now? There's a player who was going to... Watkins, Callum Watkins.
Yeah.
How could I forget? He's been great, hasn't he? I mean, I've seen the accolades he's been getting on Twitter and that, people saying he's a form second rower, and I think he made the team of the week. Was it this week or last week? And he's gave himself a new lease of life, really, and coming to the side, and he just looks so professional and tackles so well, makes the yards as well. And I think we've got a real quality player in Callum there, and we didn't think he was going to be a second row for us, but if that's going to win us matches, then great, because he's a top player.
Yeah, I have to agree about Danny Addy. I thought it was sensational. Best game, I think, in a Salford shirt.
Yeah.
Engaging the line, being the pivot. I know Greg Burke likes the sort of show and go throw ball, but he fantastic on Sunday there. Top meter makers for me: Ken CO 151, Callum Watkins 122, Tim Laffey 121, King Bunny Ayau 138, Harvey Livette 94, Amir Burrett 83, and Dion Cross 105. So, like I always say, if you can get 5 or 6 over 100, you're going the right way.
Well, Dion Cross is another man. I mean, he's not in the England night squad, and I can't believe how he's not, because he's been absolutely tremendous for us this season. For a player to come in who's never really played at the top level before, and when he came, people said to me, "Oh, he'll be a good squad player in this." And he nailed it straight away into that side, and his defence has been outstanding. He's quick off the mark. He's still only relatively a young man as well, and can get even better. So for me, we've got to tie him down on a good contract, and I know he's got an extension now, but he's been a real find for us, and it's a sensational player. So really pleased for him as well.
Yeah, obviously with Toulouse winning, Paul, it is a big win when you look at the table and momentum after the last few weeks of playing tough teams and narrowly losing, coming up on the right side of a result, especially this week, would have been big.
Well, and you look at Leeds as well. They play Wakefield this week coming, so that's another massive game. And I was looking at the Leeds coaches' body language and the players when they were coming out, and their confidence is shot. They were coming out there with their heads down, and I'm not worried about that. That's up to them to sort out. But that's a massive game for them against Wakefield this week. Now, whoever wins, the loser of that game is right down there with Toulouse. And you can see Toulouse winning matches, can't you? As the season goes on, it gets warmer down there in the south of France. It's a tougher place for people to go. Only takes them to start winning a couple of games, and teams are going to get dragged in. Warrington, they're only a few points in front of us. They're on a dismal run at the moment, so they could be a side that gets dragged into it. But for us, I think we've just got to keep concentrating on what we're doing. It's been it's been tough for us with the injuries that we've had, and now we're sort of getting that bit of light at the end of the tunnel and showing our potential, because it's a shame when you can't, put your full strength side out when you are struggling. But I think though the game against Wigan and Saints, I think it gave us a lot of confidence, that a lot of belief. We've just got to carry that on now.
Yeah, big thanks for your 3-word match reports of man of the matches. I said big win. Borough, Ricky P and his dogs in Sale, Dan Vine, Salford, Watkins, Sarah Bocott, fantastic team performance, Callum Watkins, Parker, magnificent display, Reds, Croft, Gary Williams, total team performance, Borough, Steve Bennett, great team effort, Watkins, KDL, silent assassin, Croft, your mate Roy Ellaby, for Colin Dixon, Brody Croft, CNR, hardly any errors, Croft, Mark, we're hot, Croft, Richard Martin, fantastic team spirit, Croft, John Waite, who needs props, Watkins, D, Danny Holmes, my mate Danny Holmes, well managed game, Watkins. I think that's good. Obviously, we talk about managing the game, and Mark's need obviously having a few sort of average weeks, but come back with a perfect managed game on Sunday.
He did. I must admit, when I saw the team sheet, I felt a bit sorry for Chris Atkins, because I thought he played really well in the last few weeks when Mark Sneed was out, and I sort of questioned it a bit. I thought, I feel a bit sorry there for Chris. And then when Mark played, and he played really well, Mark Sneed, I thought that's probably one of his best games for Salford. If I'm honest, I thought he bossed it with him and Brody Croft. Brody Croft was outstanding.
Yeah,
he really was, and I can't sing his praises highly enough. I mean, said in the report, the way he took the ball to the line, it's a brave thing to do that. There's not many players. My dad used to tell me that Kenny Gill used to do it for Salford, where he'd take the ball in, run to the defender, and pass the ball as late as he possibly could, and then got absolutely clattered. But Croft was doing the same thing, and you're going to get absolutely battered off the defender, but you're leaving him in two minds, and Leeds didn't know what to do, and quality halfbacks do that. You have to be brave to be an halfback, don't you? And it shone through at the weekend. Leeds couldn't handle him at all.
Yep. Stuart Shields, Watkins was immense, Croft, Trev totally outplayed Leeds, Croft, Quinn and Janet Shenton, great all-round performance, team. Colin Wilson, totally dominated performance, man of the match, 1-17. Clarker, it was coming, Croft. Colin Reynolds, defence was top, Watkins. Sam Richmond, proper defensive, Reds, Croft. Sean, great team effort, Watkins. Solid team performance, King. Kenroyd, truly simply amazing. Nicholas Fletcher, better discipline today, Croft. I think you've got a good point there. Obviously, we didn't give too many bad penalties away, and when you're not absorbing, Paul, it makes a big difference.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It wasn't constantly under the. Well, we give a lot of penalties away, but we dealt with it. We dealt with a lot, didn't we? And soaked it up, and we did that against St Helens, and for large parts we defended pretty well against Wigan. I mean, they had a lot of balls, scored 30 points against us, but I think to concede 14 at St Helens and an 8 against Leeds with all the attacking prowesses them two teams have got, I think it just shows you how our defence has improved.
Yeah. Finally, Willow's Red, world-class Watkins and Arthur Bollard, tight-knit team. So big thanks for all your big 3-word match reports, man matches. It's great to be reading positive ones out after a great win.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think Watkins and Croft there, a bit of a love-in there. They got loads, didn't they, them two? So you have to get Parker to top them up when he gets his calculator out. But no, they're a lot better to read about when we've won a game than they are when we've lost.
3. So let's talk about our ladies team, Paul. Through to the semi-final of the League Cup, they beat Illingworth 42 points to 6 away from home. What a fantastic result for Chris Bates' ladies.
Yeah, great result. Another tough away trip. I've just seen the photographs actually that Steve has sent us with them all celebrating at the AJ Bell Stadium with the bottles of beer and what have you. So yeah, great camaraderie at the building there, and a great team spirit, and another great result. I've seen the semi-final results as well. There was a big Hull derby, wasn't there, in the quarter-finals, Hull against Hull Kingston Rovers. So there's some tough teams left in the competition, but a great chance now to go on and win a trophy in their inaugural season, which is it's a fantastic achievement to get to where they've got to at the moment, and it just keeps rolling, doesn't it? The good news story.
Yep. Lucy McKeon with a hat-trick, Steph Gray, Lauren Ellison, Kaylee Bradshaw, Louise Fellingham and Eppie Fletcher. She scored her first try for Salford, and all the girls jumped on her because she's had a few near misses in the last few weeks, Paul. So to get over the line boosted everyone's happiness and went long into the night.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, great result, as I said, and good to see so many different try scorers as well. You know, it just shows that they've got threats all over the field, haven't they, at the moment, and so dangerous. And the amount of points they've scored this season, we'll have to top up how many tries they've actually scored up to now, because it's been plenty, hasn't it? You know, every week's been a bit of a try fest. So yeah, let's just hope we can go one step further now and reach this final and. Go on and win the trophy. I think that'd be absolutely outstanding if they could do that.
Yeah, Demi Jones kicked 3 goals. Lucy McKeon kicked 2. It's a tough place to go, Illingworth. Obviously, when you're in the quarter final at home, your crowd expect a victory, but our girls went in there, took on all the sort of animosity and put it to their advantage.
Yeah, they took it on the stride this season, haven't they? I mean, they've won quite a lot of games away from home, and it's different when you're a new side, you've not played before, you go into grounds and having experiences that you're not too sure about, and it can play on the mind, can it, and with your nerves and that. But the ladies, for me, they don't seem to show any nerves. They play like a team that's been playing for years together. So that for me bodes well for the future, and they can really start challenging. I've said it all the time. I say it about the men's team, the first team. It's just every game as it comes, isn't it? You can't start setting yourself daft targets. You've just got to, take each week as it comes and notch the wins off. And that's what they've been doing. And that's the best way to go. Yeah.
Megan Condoliffe won Lady of the Match. Laura Bent played big minutes as well, and Taz was busy around the ruck as always. And I would say that forward pack just only knows one way to go, and it's forward.
Certainly is, yeah, and you need that, don't you? There's an old saying that the forwards win you the game, don't they? And the backs play off the back of that, and I think that's right in both the ladies and the men's side of the sport. You've got to have that pack that's going to work hard, do the tough stuff, and a lot of the time it's that work sort of goes unnoticed. People don't remember the tries, don't they, in the glory moments, but you've got to earn that right to play, haven't you, and earn that right to get good field position. So that's done by hard work, and the ladies are like the men. Same thing. You don't just turn up on a match day and sort of it all magically clicks together. A lot of that work is done Tuesday night, Thursday night in the gym, on the training pitch. There's an awful lot of work that goes into that, and I mean, they need the coaching staff and the players all need applauding for that, because I think sometimes as supporters just think everyone rolls up at the weekend and it all comes together, but there's an awful lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, isn't there?
Yeah. I spoke to Chris Bates and Steph Gray about the match and the victory, and this was 3. So we're joined by Salford Devils ladies centre Steph Gray. Welcome to the show, Steph.
Hello, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, congratulations on your weekend quarter-final League Cup win against Illingworth. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was great. I think we started off strong. We got a try in the first couple of minutes. But something that probably was our downfall was our line speed, which was probably from the previous week against Shrewsbury was a similar situation. Like, we scored and then they just came back at us, and just our line speed, unfortunately, just unravelled, and they got a try. We managed to come back at 16-6 at the halftime score. I think it was really good because in the second half we rallied as a group of girls to come back and beat them by another 30 points on the board. So yeah, it was a good second half for us, really.
Yeah, it was a tough environment. Obviously, going to places like Illingworth when you're Salford Devils ladies, you're a sort of a team to get sort of knocked off your perch, aren't you, with everything going on. So it's good that we got there and we did a job.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think we kind of went there and people saw us as this professional outfit, which we do strive to be on and off the field. We train hard. When we get there, we make sure we're acting professional, no messing around, and we're there to do a job basically at the end of the day. I think it was a tough environment to be in. The fans were giving a lot of us grief on the sidelines, and I think that may have swayed the ref one way or another, but that's just kind of sometimes the way of the game. And it kind of shows character how we responded to that. In the second half, we showed why we are a league above them in the Championship and what we strive to be and why we want to be the best we can possibly be.
Yeah, semi-final is against Dewberry Moor. We beat them 2 weeks ago, thanks to 2 tries from yourself. It'll be a big game. Obviously, you've played them before; they've played us. Both teams know a bit about each other. It's going to be an absolute classic.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really good game. I think, as our previous game against them showed, it could have gone either way. They had the fight to come back at 16-16. I think that shows the character they've got, but also the depth and character that we've got to kind of push on. And when we need to kind of put foot to floor, we can do that. And I also think, like, hopefully against them, we'll have players that was missing in that game back on the pitch, like Vanessa and Lucy, and they'll make huge difference to the squad.
Yeah. What's it been like playing for Salford this season with all the excitement sort of on and off the field?
I think it's been like really good. I think like off the field, the hype we've been getting is incredible. Like I've never played for a club where they've really supported the women as much, like they're publicising us all over their socials. I think it's just so nice to see how much support we are getting and how much faith they have within us to believe how like far we could go as a club. I think like on the field in terms of the squad, I think it's great. Like we all came in, a couple of people knew each other, but as a team we've just grown from strength to strength. It shows in performances at Illingworth. Like people like Jenna came on to step in at hooker and she settled the game, and that probably really helped us to go on and win that game as well as we did. I think the environment's really good. Everyone's gelling well, and we're so new. We've still got so much growth to go, and it's like amazing to see how far we could potentially go.
Yeah, we spoke to head coach Chris Bates early in the season. He predicted you'd be among the top try scorers in the division. You've so far got 6 tries in 8 games. How's that make you feel? Obviously, he's singling you out as being one of our main strike players.
It puts quite a lot of pressure, actually. I remember when he said it and I was like, oh, don't be daft. I was like, I'd just be happy to get a couple of tries. Yeah. I think it's great. Like, we've got strike force all over the field. Like, we've got my winger, Lauren. Like, if I just set her up and scores, I'm happy with that. Like, for me, it doesn't really necessarily matter who scores the tries, as long as we're playing well and we're playing as a team. And then you've obviously got Lightning McEwen, who's come in and, like, she's just a try-scoring machine. So it's just great to see that it doesn't matter who scores. There's scorers all over the field, really.
Yeah, you say that, but pressure is a privilege. And I saw your tries against Featherstone Lions, was it, where you went sort of 80 metres off the back of absolutely nothing, really. And that kind of shows the class, I think, that you've got. You can see something and just make it happen.
Yeah, I guess. Like, I guess it was just a lucky bounce of the ball, and I just spotted a gap and went. But it's great to see that like there's gaps available, and like if you take a gap, you just kind of got to run and make sure like you see it home.
Yeah, obviously unbeaten in the league, League Cup semi-final, playing fantastic in the league in the nines competition at Warrington, and possible wildcard entrance. How far can this team go?
It's a very good question. I think at the moment we're just trying to stay grounded. Like, obviously, we'd love to win the league, we'd love to win the cup, and that is our aim. As a group of girls, we do want to be like the best we could possibly be. And I think like we've all got jobs outside of this, but as a women's team, we want to strive to be the best we could possibly be. And who knows where the limit is. Like, if we keep playing the way we're playing and we keep being there for each other and supporting each other, and people are developing and growing day by day, like, I think the aim would be we would get into Super League, but that's just like an ambition that we would want for the club.
And what would that be like, sort of playing in Super League for Salford?
I think that would be amazing. I think to have a women's and a men's team both in the Super League, I think that's just great for the club, like as a whole, the publicity. And I think so far the publicity Salford's given us as a women's team, and we're not yet in the Super League, is great. Like, it's phenomenal to see. It's so supporting and encouraging, and it really makes us want to like wear the badge with pride and go out there every week and give our all.
Yeah. Off the field, your cousin of former Salford captain Lee Mossop, has he been giving you any tips on how to play? Probably not giving you tips on how to score tries, because he's scored more tries than he has in his career.
Yeah, I think the basis of it was just go out there, enjoy yourself, play hard, and like he's had a lot of injuries in his time. I guess like you just don't take that for granted. You go out there and you enjoy the game and you play for each other and play for the team. And I think like he's shown his support because he offered to be my sponsor this year, and he said he's going to come down to some games and stuff. So that'd be like nice. And I know like Salford gave him a lot within his career. And I think it's like great to see that potentially they could give me the same.
Yeah, Hull Kingston Rovers away this weekend. Be a tough game that.
Yeah, it will definitely be tough. I think it's in their home ground. It's going to be a long coach journey up there. Like, it's just going to see the conditions, how we're going to do when we get there. I think we're going to prepare hard this week, go hard in training, and then hopefully we'll be set and ready to go into the game. We have still got quite a few people out of injuries, which is a shame. But I guess with the squad and the depth we've got, we'll just adapt to that and just hopefully we can give out the performance that the fans want.
Obviously, we've got the semi-final coming up. But do you think as players, it's going to be difficult to kind of focus on sort of the next game in front of you and not look forward to that big semi?
I think like it's difficult. I think if we want to get to that semi and perform the best in that semi, we need to take every game as it comes. So league games are great. Like you can't really compare the league to the cup. I think it's a different thing. Your league, your bread and butter, as you always say on the podcast. Yeah. I think that's like the main thing you focus on. And I think we've got to get through the league, and then in the cup, when the cup comes, we'll look at that and we'll play the cup the way we play it.
Yeah, we'll add the bread and butter to the podcast bingo, and we'll put your name by it. Brilliant. Thanks for joining us, Steph. Big thanks for coming on. Congratulations on the win at weekend, and good luck on the weekend against Hull Kingston Rovers.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Coach's Corner.
So we're joined by Salford Red Devils ladies coach Chris Bates. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Hi, Rob. Thanks for having us again.
Yeah. Congratulations on your quarter-final win in the League Cup against Illingworth. Talk us through it.
Well, thanks very much. I mean, it's phenomenal, really, isn't it? To be through to a semi-final in what's ultimately the first season. I'm delighted for him. I risk repeating myself over and over again, I suppose, that they're just getting the plaudits that they deserve. Mm-hmm. You know, I see them work every week, and I see the stuff that they do in terms of extras, and seeing players get fitter and fitter and fitter, and that comes through the work they're putting in. So I'm just delighted that they're getting some reward for it, to be honest. In terms of the game itself, it was a proper old school amateur rugby league game. You know, like that was an horrible place to go, if I'm honest. Change rooms were tiny and they were dead hot, and mud all over the walls, and we're trying to create a kind of professional environment for them, but we're hanging shirts up on nails, rusty nails in the dressing room, and that's no knock to Illingworth. Welcome to rugby league. This is how it works, and it was just another different environment for the group to go into, with a sideline that was, partisan doesn't really cut it. They were a tough side to play in front of, both in terms of the pitch on a slant and the sidelines very much against you, and that we felt potentially maybe influenced some of the referees' decisions, but I'm not sure I blame him for that either. And it meant that we just had to really make sure that we held our standards. We talked to them at length about just making sure that we stuck at the stuff that we do well, and we don't let all the stuff around the game kind of influence what we do on the pitch. And they did that really well. We still played expansive rugby. We still kicked from within our own half when that was on. We still made good decisions. We still executed well, and to come away from that environment that the group hadn't been in before with a 42-6 win was something we were really pleased with. I thought that wasn't necessarily a test of skill. I think they said it afterwards. We were kind of player for player the better side, but can you then show it in that environment? And the answer was yes. So delighted to kind of pass another test, as we keep talking about.
Yeah, 8 tries away from home, Chris, shows that you've got strike everywhere on the field.
Yeah, they just played some really nice stuff, Rob. So it came from them breaking. Actually, they had a couple of good players, actually. So they had a second row that went wandering through the middle, stepped Lucy, and then was on her way to the sticks. Lobby flew back, kind of came out of nowhere, knocked the ball out of her hands, and then ended up kind of recovering the ball and getting to 10 metres. They then picked up an injury in that collision, and our girls noticed that the fullback wasn't home, so Lucy Demi was off the field at that point. Lucy hammered it downfield, and then the likes of Steph, the likes of Lauren, the likes of Lucy kind of get on the bike, and then ultimately we've got the skills to pick that ball up under pressure and convert that into points, and I thought we did that all game, whether that was playing through our structures as we when we did manage to get field position, or whether that was hitting them from deep when the chance arose. It was it was a really good performance from an attacking point of view.
Yeah, always. We talk about gameplay intelligence, don't we, on the podcast a lot? And it's moments like that shows that your ladies have that and be able to spot opportunities when they come up.
Yeah, and it definitely didn't come from the sidelines. So I owe Matt Drinkwater an apology, actually, to be fair, because we talked about the Wigan St Pat's game. We talked about the fact that we kicked from a scrum, and I gave Demi all the credit for that. And he was very quick to remind me that he'd also seen it and kind of given Demi the thumbs up to do it. So the fact that in that instance, as a quite a new side, Demi kind of needed that kind of thumbs up to say, yeah, no, you're good, kick it away, we'll take the chance. But now you look at that, we were nothing to do with it. So I don't know whether Lobby spotted it or Lucy spotted it. Lucy certainly kicked the ball. I heard that call come from the players that it's going downfield, and what was great about it was that we were on our 10, having just got the ball back, when we should have just conceded points, and yet to a girl, every one of them players backed that call and off they went. It's nice to see them really adopt to kind of the style of play we want them to play, and there'll be plenty of times that doesn't come off. It might even lose us a game one day, but at the minute it's scoring us points. So yeah, long may that continue.
Yeah, Lucy McKee on a hat-trick after a couple of weeks off. Kick goals as well. She just scores straight to fun, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. So she scored first and she beat 4 or 5 to do it. She showed that I've not seen many players who can kind of beat a player like Lucy can, and I'm not exaggerating with that. I genuinely haven't. But then equally, you got to look at the level I play at, I suppose, to maybe understand that. But she's just got that in a locker. So naturally, if you put her in space against a defender that's perhaps weak or throws the hips the wrong way, then Lucy will beat her. What we want to keep developing with Lucy is we want to keep turning her into a rugby league fullback and keep pushing her on and help her. So I was watching the Salford Leeds highlights, great result for the men. So it's 1 minute 22 on the highlights package that's on YouTube. It's Brierley's try, and he sniffs around the ruck. So they pick up, and the 9 goes left, and Brierley's set in shape on the right hand side. But he immediately puts himself in the middle of the park, and then equally he's not really chased anything. He's watching a 9 run at a set defence. Then the ball ends up coming back to the right hand side where Brierley was, but now he's in the middle of the park, and he keeps on his front foot. And he keeps pushing through just in case a gap opens up, and sure enough it does. And then he's on the inside in the right place, but he's in the right place because he's got that kind of instinct, and he's prepared to kind of continue to try and put himself in those positions. He must do that 99 times, and it doesn't come off, and then 1 in 100 it does. And that's where we want to keep working with Lucy to keep developing that kind of rugby league specific gameplay intelligence. She's a fantastic rugby league player, but we don't know where her ceiling is. We've got to keep trying to kind of work with her and keep helping her developing. She's very new to rugby league. We've got to keep kind of pushing her on.
Yep. Epi Fletcher scored the final try for your ladies. Her first try for the club, and it meant so much to her and everyone else.
Yeah, as coach, sometimes you have special moments, and them special moments don't necessarily come from like a last-minute win, or they come from watching someone who's come into a group and really grown. I swear she didn't speak for the first 2 months she was with us. She came to us from Lee Miners Rangers, probably at Lee a little young perhaps. She's only 17 now, but she's just flourished. She's, I'm just absolutely delighted for her. So she's gone from a player that in the Swinton game we gave kind of 15, 20 minutes to because she trained hard and she was always there and she was showing commitment. So she got a bit back from us to all the way through now to, she starts on the wing. There's no question of it. She's gone from a player that's very new to contact, and we've done a lot of work to kind of get her used to contact, and now actually she's body in front all the time. She made some fantastic last-ditch tackles on a wing, and I think when you see a group like that, and when you see us as coaches react like that, it's not because that's a game-winning try or that's just another try. It's because we see how much it means to that person, and yeah, we're all buzzing for Epi. That's just a thoroughly deserved try, and yeah, we were all delighted to see her get over the line.
Who else stood out for you in the performance?
I'm going to give Meg raps. She's stepped into 13 with Ness kind of having to take a few weeks out, and she played 80 minutes at loose forward on Sunday. It's just a phenomenal effort. We've talked at length about how we have to spell our forwards because of how much we expect out of them, and for Meg to go and kind of churn out a stint like that as one of the more senior kind of forwards is brilliant. So yeah, she was fantastic. I thought Alex Simpson was really good. So she's really good running ball in hand. Been talking to her a lot about coming into. So when we're in paw ball and we're in our own half and we're trying to get out, she's a devastating ball runner. So we want to see a bit more of that. When she does it, it's really effective, and she's a leader as well. She talks all the way through the game, and she's taken Epi kind of under her wing and continues to kind of work with Epi and push her on and talk through the game, and has ran a blood to water again. Across the park there was some fantastic efforts. I described Lobby's effort to save a try, kind of when the game was, wasn't won at that point. And just seeing a group that, with a few bodies missing, are just continuing to put their hand up and deliver the goods, and that's awesome.
Yeah, Dewsbury Moor in the semi-final. It'll be an absolute classic, that.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. And we talk about tests, don't we? So the first team we'll come up against for the second time. So they've played against us once. So, they'll be more prepared than any other side we've ever played. So again, let's ramp up and let's see how we kind of get on with that. Yeah, really, really excited for it. It's at home as well. So the club are working in the background to figure out how we kind of make a bit of an event of that and how we really showcase Women's Rugby League. And does that mean that we put it on a Saturday with a bit of a kind of family atmosphere around it? I'm not sure yet, but really hoping that we get kind of the Salford faithful really backing us and really coming down and having a look at what we're about if you've kind of not seen us before, but B, making it a really special event because to be honest with you, it's what the group deserve. They are working really hard to kind of give everything to a Salford shirt, and I think if we saw a big crowd down there for what's going to be an unbelievable occasion, I think that'd be great.
Yeah. Who's in the other semi?
So the other semi is Orrell beat Warrington Lunars 4-0.
Okay.
So Orrell play Hull KR, yeah.
Yeah. And who do you fancy?
Who beat Oxley? Well, I don't know if I'm being disrespectful to Orrell. I certainly don't mean to be. I don't know anything about them, but we weren't expecting them to beat Lunars. So I think they might well be a bit of a surprise package. So yeah, I honestly don't know. We've got Hull KR away on Saturday, so we'll find out a bit about them. And then Orrell wise, yeah, no idea. Let's see what they turn up.
Yeah, it's obviously we beat Dewsbury Moor before, haven't we? So it'll be obviously, like you say, you played them before. They'll know more about us. We know about them, so it's going to be an even more intriguing encounter.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it was close, that Dewsbury game. Let's not mess about. We're going to have to work hard to come up levels if we want to kind of get through that, and get into that final. We talked about it, didn't we? We got back to 16 all, and game was in the balance and could have gone either way, and it took us not necessarily the kind of quality we would like to show, but it took us a bit of fight to get through that. So yeah, we've got to work hard to make sure we're successful in that.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for joining us, Chris, and congratulations again.
Yeah.
Hey. So that was Chris Bates and Steph Gray telling me about the victory and how excited they are about the future and the possibility of a final appearance.
Yeah, it'd be hard not to get excited. I know coaches will always sort of err on the side of caution, won't they? Because you don't want to sort of jump and that, but they've got to be excited now. If you get to like that close to a cup final and that chance of winning silverware, and Salford as a club, we don't win lots of silverware, do we? So there might be a corner being turned here now. We might start winning some trophies. So whisper it, but we're not quite there yet, but we're not far off.
Yeah, it's a fantastic result for our ladies. Congratulations from everyone on the podcast. And, when you're in a semi-final, anything can happen. And obviously you've done us proud, so far, with some fantastic wins and some great rugby. And, win or lose, they'll have done us proud, won't they, Paul?
They certainly will, yeah. I think they've exceeded all expectations so far this season, haven't they? I mean, your first season is about sort of getting the groundwork done, getting used to each other, and maybe pick up 1 or 2 wins. But to go where they've gone and be so clinical and winning matches, week in, week out, and challenging teams and beating teams that are established, and that, I think it's been a dream come true. I mean, I don't know what the expectations of the coaching staff and the players was before everything kicked off, but they must be delighted with the way things have gone.
Yeah. So let's talk about our reserves, Paul. They were in action against St Helens at weekend. They lost 42 points to 6. I spoke to Matt Carr, who went down. He was our man on the ground there about the result, and this is what he had to say. So, Matt, you went to the reserves game against St Helens. Talk us through it. Was it a good game?
Yeah, good game. Yeah, first half I think it was 24-0 for the Saints, but we had 2 tries disallowed. But a lot of good rugby played, a lot of promise. Second half, it was even Stevens on the scorecard. It was 16-0 from memory, and they did really well. So with the 2 tries that disallowed it would have been a lot closer. One was for a forward pass, and one was for allegedly it wasn't grounded. But if they'd have counted, it'd have been a lot closer. And Saints are a good side, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They are, Matt. And obviously, Salford's try scorers Greg Burke with a crash ball over the line. Nathan Taylor, we've spoke about him on the podcast before. He scored assist from Miles. Dalton Harrop there, and then the final try, was another great one. And it shows that, like Danny Martin's men, when they pass the ball about and they move the ball, they cause all kinds of problems.
Yeah. I was quite impressed, to be honest. I've seen him before. I've seen him play Castleford a few weeks ago. That was quite a close game. Cass run out winners in the end, but there's a lot of potential in there, a lot of good players, and the pathway is obviously doing the job. And I'm thinking the first team will benefit over the next few years, which is great. Which is what we want.
Yeah, Miles Tyler Harrop was the final try scorer. Obviously looking at the stats and how hard the boys worked. Adam Holt, we ran 5.3 kilometres. Connor Tyler ran 6.1 kilometres. Joe Rock run 5.74 kilometres, and Matty Unsworth, who's a second row, ran 6.7 kilometres. So the boys worked hard. You can't fault them for effort.
Yeah, no, you couldn't fault for the effort at all, especially second half. Unlucky first half. I think Saints came out the blocks really quickly, but second half, like I say, 16-0 from my count. They really put an effort in. Great shift from all of them.
Yeah, and it obviously shows, like you said, you've got that sort of connection with the sort of the academy, and you've got a route now, haven't they, to play at a high level. And I'm looking at them, a few of their lads in that team, and I'm thinking that they could go, into Championship, possibly Super League in a few years.
Oh, absolutely, and it's not just the reserves as well. If you look at the under-16s, that was under-16s game a couple of weeks ago. I think they played Cass as well, and narrowly lost. I mean, they had a try. They scored a try. If they'd converted that, I think it would have gone to 22-all. It was that close, and they just ran away and got another try in the sort of the last few minutes. Cass, but the potential and the way they play it's similar. It's what you want to see, that all teams are playing a similar sort of way. So when these guys do go step up to the reserves and then they step up to the first team, they're sort of similar way.
So that was Matt Carr telling us about the defeat against St Helens. Obviously, St Helens are a very good side, Paul, and our boys in the second half went toe to toe with them.
Yeah, they certainly did. You know what you're going to get. With St Helens, they've got some super players in their team. And if you think back to a few weeks ago when they played Castleford in the Super League, a lot of those players from their reserves played in that game and give Castleford a decent game, didn't they? So they've got players who could probably step up to Super League level. Whereas our players are probably just a bit behind them in their development. So, it's always going to be tough going to St Helens. There's a conveyor belt of players there, and such a professional club as well. So yeah, a really good effort at the weekend. And, great to have Matt Carr down there doing a bit of work for us as well, earning his money for us.
Yeah. Obviously, you can listen to him and Paul Trainer on our pop-up podcast as they look forward to the community day on Friday with all the schools and the clubs going down to watch the game. But we'll talk about that.
Let's talk about the learning disability team. They were in a rugby festival in Hull at weekend, and I spoke to Craig Fisher, who is the head of equality and diversity at the club, and he told us what went on in Hull. All right, Craig, welcome to the show. The learning disability team were at a festival in Hull last weekend. How did it go?
Yeah, so we took the Learning Disability Super League side over to Hull for the second festival of the year. It went absolutely brilliantly. The guys had a really, really good time. It was a bit of a stressful week for me in the build-up to it, but seeing all the guys, having fun, enjoying themselves with the mates. Heather, just being Heather, brightening it up as well, being dead cheerful. It made for a really, really good day. Everyone had a great time. Parents and carers really enjoyed it, and the guys were absolutely buzzing.
There were some top performers in the team. Some great tries were scored. You must be buzzing for them.
Yeah, there were some great performances from everyone. I mean, we took 13 guys to the festival. Some for the first time, so they had their first taste of LDSL Festival Rugby League, which was great to see. They came away with some really good vibes, which is what it's all about initially. Everyone got on the score sheet. I think everyone scored a try at one point or another during the 7 games that we played, and it was a real nice touch as well at the end for Jamie Bradley, one of our players, to get player of the tournament, which was excellent.
When's the next Learning Disability Festival?
So the next Learning Disability Festival will take place on the 10th of July at Magic Weekend at St James's Park. But prior to that, I am trying to organise a mini festival at the AJ Bell Stadium to coincide with the Wakefield Trinity game on the 26th of June. So it'll be ourselves, the Salford Red Devils LDSL team, along playing the Wakefield Trinity team, Wigan Warriors, and also the Leeds Centurions. So it should make for a great day of Festival Rugby League, and everyone will get a chance to see our superstars in action.
Finally, Craig, just before I go, I saw you on Twitter. You said how much the club means to you now and the journey you've been on. It was very emotional. I'd like to say thanks to all the teams that you produced, so far, and it means so much to the people who are involved in that. And you've given, a club a massive boost, and you're a vital cog in the wheel. How do you feel about that?
It was something that I just felt like the club needed. I never wanted to treat any team like it was a box ticking exercise. I mean, I knew Salford needed a women's team. I knew they needed a PD side. I knew they needed an LD side. I knew they needed a wheelchair team and a girls' pathway. And like I say, I just wanted to provide that for the club because the club's always been good to me, even before I started working for them. I volunteered with the club for a good while, and I've always been looked after by them. And it's the least I can do. The good people, they've looked after me. I don't know anyone at that club that I don't get along with or enjoy spending my time with. So it's just it's a great place to be. I've had bad experiences with other clubs, and Salford just feels like home. And like I say, it's not a box ticking exercise. This is something I want the community to get behind. I want the Salford City community to rally behind every single facet and every single variant that we can possibly offer them.
Wow, Craig. Well, it's that outstanding stuff. Big thanks for coming on and give us insight into the Learning Disabilities team in Hull and all the things that's going on inside the club.
Just watch this space, mate. Honestly, there's another huge announcement coming Salford's way, which I'm really excited about. So, like I say, all these variants are coming up, but I'm only just scratching the surface.
The Salford team that took part in the festival in Hull were as follows. It's Will Walton, Ben Blood, Keith Blood, Jamie Bradley, James Davis Barnett, James Jackson, Gareth Scott, Dave Heffernan, Jack Heffernan, Ben Heffernan, Sean Begley-Jones, Sean Robinson and Ben Sheedy. That was Craig Fisher. Give us an idea what's going on with the Learning Disabilities team in the festival at Hull. And now we'll look and see what's happening in the world of Salford Red Devils. In the news now. So Friday, big game, Castleford at home, big event. The club inviting schools and community clubs to come down, Paul, and enjoy the day and hopefully create supporters of the future.
Exactly, yeah, that's what you want to see. And if you go back, we had one of these days similar, didn't we, to the first time we played Leeds a bit earlier in the season, and the atmosphere was absolutely outstanding that night. And a lot of the players went over to see the school kids after the game, signing autographs and really making an occasion of it. And I thought the atmosphere was great that night. There was singing and chanting and got behind the boys. And I think they realised that and raised their game. So I'm hoping that's going to happen again this Friday. I mean, we've had a good win against Leeds there, so confidence should be high now. We can get a result on Friday night. That's 10 points we've got now. We're on Sky Sports as well live, So you're hoping to have a really good atmosphere there, and people who don't come on Friday night and do see it on the television, they might start thinking, wow, something's going on down there at the AJBL. Something good's happening. And when's the next game? And there's quite a lot of home games coming up, as we keep saying. So if you don't get down there Friday, check it out on the telly and then get down there to the next one, because it should be a great occasion Friday night. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, what the club are doing in the community, obviously with the schools and the local clubs, and it really feels like we're a club going in the right direction now, I feel. And that obviously, looking back through I call them the glory years, but they weren't. We're miles away from back then, even though we had some fun. But the club have actually taken the beacon and ran off into the distance and created a whole new club, really.
When you talk about the glory years, are you going back to like the early 2000s under John Harvey and Steve McCormack, and people like that? And you think, wow, it was tough being a Salford supporter then, wasn't it? Getting absolutely smashed every week. But we still get them days now, don't we? They've not all gone for good, have they? But it has been nice the last few seasons where we've got to finals and won a few games. I know last season was pretty tough, but. Yeah, it's been different. I think the club's gone on a different sort of journey over the last few years under different leadership. We've had Paul King coming in steering the ship, haven't we? And I think, for me personally speaking, I think it's been a lot steadier what's gone on. And I think the club's made an awful lot of progress off the field, which is good. And you can tell that by when you see things in the media, and that there's a lot more good news around the club. There doesn't seem to be that scandal and controversy all the time. It seems a lot more settled, and I think the crowds are slowly sort of creeping up. They're not massively jumping, but I saw an article a few weeks ago in one of the newspapers, and it was saying, it had like the rises in percentages, and Salford's was pretty good. Ours is slowly creeping up, so that's going to take time. It's one of those things. Obviously, you want crowds to go up, but it's not a rush thing. You've just got to build it slowly. And I think the people in charge of the club are doing good things. And this event that's happening on Friday, bringing all the school kids, and that's a great event. And the more things we can have like that throughout the summer, it would be really good.
Yeah. Other news, Paul, the Business Networking and Unique Experiences event is taking place on the 19th of May, Thursday, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Obviously, local businesses go down, network, find new business, and that's important. Obviously, the club want to be a community club, but they also want to be a sort of a hive for all the local businesses as well.
Well, yeah, you better get this podcast out quick, because that's this Thursday, isn't it? So
yeah, don't worry, you'll be out.
Yeah, get this out on time. But yeah, of course. I mean, local businesses, we mentioned it before, local businesses and people like that are your partners, aren't they? You want those working alongside you, and sponsorship as well. And yeah, when you're a community club, it should be for everybody in the community, schools, businesses, your supporters. You want everybody involved, don't you? And the more people you can get involved, the more people you get through your match, through the gate on the weekend, and it all interlinks, really, if you like, doesn't it? So yeah, that's what it's all about now. And with the stadium, you want to get as much juice out of the stadium as possibly can. And as you say, it's more juice in the tank. I think you're more the sort of business brain than me in that sort of thing. But no, I think it's good news for the club, to keep everybody involved.
Yep. The club have also announced as a sponsor match day experience package. You want to sponsor the match day, it's £1,750 plus VAT. If you want to sponsor the match ball, it's £1,250 plus VAT. You can get a table of 10 in hospitality with the padded seats. Padded seats are always the game clincher for me. You get signed merch. You get to give the player of the award, player of the match award, which is great, and obviously you get to put your company in the program as a sort of advertisement. So I think it's really good. Obviously, I think it's good value. I'm sure, like I say, if you aren't going down to the business event on Thursday, you'll be the business should be climbing over each other to get involved in this.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I wonder if the business I work for would want to get involved with that. With my manager, wouldn't they, and see if they'd be involved, because they used to be involved with quite a well-known football team who I worked for a number of years ago. I don't know whether they still sponsor them or not, but that'd be nice, though, wouldn't it, to get them involved? So
yeah,
I'll have to have a word. I don't know I don't know how I can swing it, but you never know. It's worth a shout, isn't it? It's worth asking.
Paul Whiteside, everyone's favourite man of the people. So it's a given.
I'll try my best.
So yeah, fantastic. Hopefully they'll get involved in that, and lots of businesses will be involved and sort of produce, put juice in the club's tank. So that's all the news, Paul. And now we'll look at what's going on in the world of rugby league with Whiteside's World of Rugby League.
Here is this week's Devil in Detail amateur report. We'll mix it up a bit this week and start off with the North West Men's League. There's quite a lot of no results again, but I'll give you the scores from the weekend that we do have. In Division 1, it was Bury Broncos 6, Chorley Panthers 52, Folly Lane 36, Lee Minor Rangers A 10. In Division 2, West Horton Lions 44, Walney Central 10. Division 3, Rochdale Mayfield A 38, Thatto Heath Crusaders B 0. In Division 4 South and East, Waterhead Warriors A 22, Burton Woodbridge 40, and in Division 5 it was Bolton Mets 14, Ince Rosebridge A 38. The fixtures for this week, there's a derby between Cadishead Rhinos and Salford City Roosters. That's on Thursday the 19th of May. The rest of the fixtures, well, there's only one involving our local sides. That's played on Saturday the 21st. That's Dalton against Folly Lane. Well, moving on to the North West Youth League. In the under-18s Premier Division, Saddleworth Rangers 14, Lee Minor Rangers 18. In Division 1 of the under-16s, it was Folly Lane 22, Rochdale Mayfield 24, West Horton Lions 42, South Trafford Raiders 12. The fixtures for this Sunday, the 22nd of May, under-18s, Saddleworth Rangers at home to Thatto Heath Crusaders, Wigan St Jude's are at home to Waterhead Warriors. Division 1 of the under-18s, Salford City Roosters at home to Blackbrook Royals. And in the under-16s, Division 1, Crossfields at home to Rochdale Mayfield, Folly Lane face South Trafford Raiders. Division 2 of the under-16s, Saddleworth Rangers at home to Waterhead Warriors in an Oldham derby. Salford City Roosters at home to Holton Farnworth Hornets Green. Well, moving on to the National Conference Leagues. In the Premier Division, Rochdale Mayfield were beaten at Thatto Heath Crusaders at the weekend, 28 points to 18. Mayfield actually led 12-0 at half-time, but went down to Thatto Heath 28-18 at full-time. Thatto Heath are up to third in the table with that result. In Division 1, Saddleworth Rangers were beaten in Cumbria against Kells by 40 points to 16. In Division 3, Lee East 10, Waterhead Warriors 52, Oldham St Anne's 28, East Leeds 26. Saddleworth Rangers are third bottom in Division 1, but in Division 3, Oldham St Anne's and Waterhead is second, Oldham St Anne's are third as they chase East Leeds, who are currently top of the table. Big win though for Oldham St Anne's, beating East Leeds. That was their first defeat of the season. So East Leeds are top with 9 wins from 10, Waterhead Warriors second with 6 from 10, and Oldham St Anne's are third with 6 from 10. Waterhead Warriors just above on points difference. Right, well, I'll bring you some results from Women's Rugby League this week. I think we'll start adding them into the Life Outside Rugby League report as well. St Helens Women, they beat Wigan Warriors Women by 44 points to 0 at the weekend just gone. The rest of the scores in the Betfred Women's Super League Group 1, Huddersfield 6, York City Knights 50. In Group 2, it's Barrow Raiders 6, Warrington Wolves 32. Lee Minor Rangers 28, Wakefield 14. Barrow 30, Featherstone 0. The Women's League Cup results, as we've already spoke about probably on the podcast. Great win for Salford Red Devils. Ladies, they beat Illingworth away from home by 42 points to 6. Hull KR beat Hull FC 18-14 in a Hull derby. Halifax 20, Lee Minor Rangers Community Team 28. Oral St James 4, Warrington Wolves Lunars 0. What a cracking game that sounds. Defence is on top there. West Leeds Eagles 8, Dewsbury Moor 16. The forthcoming fixtures for the ladies. Women's Super League Group 1. On Friday the 20th of May, Leeds Rhinos are at home to Huddersfield Giants. 22nd of May, the Sunday, it's York City Knights against St Helens in Group 1. Group 2, Bradford Bulls face Lee Minor Rangers. Featherstone Rovers against Castleford Tigers. Warrington against Wakefield Trinity. In the Women's Super League South, the Army face Cardiff Demons on Sunday as well. Bedford Tigers Women against Golden Ferns. London Broncos against Oxford Cavaliers. In the Women's Championship, Dewsbury Moor at home to Hull on Sunday. Hull KR face Salford Red Devils. Warrington Wolves Lunars at home to Oldham Redettes. In the Women's League 1, Featherstone Lionesses at home to Rochdale Hornets. Illingworth play Wigan St Pat's. Swinton Lionesses play Sheffield Eagles. In the Women's League 2, Lee Minor Rangers Community Team face Fryston Warriors. Oral St James face Barrow Raiders Ladies Reserves. And Thatto Heath Crusaders at home to Warrington Wolves Alphas. Well, we certainly get around on this report, and we'll move over about 12,000 miles away now to the NRL in Australia, where it was their magic weekend. The round just gone. Some fantastic tries in there as well. If you see the one, I think it was the game between West Tigers, I think it was, and the Cowboys. What a great try that was. You'll know the one I'm talking about. Anyway, it's been all over Twitter. The guy's in touch and somehow keeps himself in the air and flings the ball back. Great try. But the rest of the scores: Canterbury Bulldogs 6, Newcastle Knights 16, Manly Seagulls 0, Brisbane Broncos 38, Melbourne Storm 6, Penrith Panthers 32. What a great win that was for the Penrith Panthers. New Zealand Warriors 30, South Sydney Rabbitohs 32, Gold Coast Titans 20, St George Illawarra 16, Cronulla Sharks 10, Canberra Raiders 30, Sydney Roosters 31, Parramatta Eels 24, and West Tigers 12. North Queensland Cowboys 36. So it's round 11 coming up this weekend. Newcastle Knights face Brisbane on Thursday. On Friday, it's West Tigers against Canterbury Bulldogs. Parramatta are at home to Manly Seagulls. On Saturday, St George Illawarra are at home to New Zealand Warriors. North Queensland Cowboys face Melbourne Storm. Sydney Roosters take on the Penrith Panthers. On Sunday, it's South Sydney Rabbitohs against Canberra Raiders, and Gold Coast Titans are at home to Cronulla Sharks. So currently, Penrith are top with 9 wins from 10. Melbourne Storm are second with 8 wins from 10. Then it's Queensland Cowboys, Sydney Roosters, Cronulla Sharks, Parramatta Eels, Brisbane Broncos, and South Sydney Rabbitohs that make up the playoff places. Well, back over to the United Kingdom now for our look at life outside the Super League. Betfred Championship round 11 at the weekend just gone. Barrow 26, Workington Town 12 in that Cumbrian derby. Bradford Bulls 6, York City Knights 20. Dewsbury Rams 26, Featherstone Rovers 46. Halifax Panthers 38, Sheffield Eagles 14. In the Eagles line-up, it was Ben Jones, Bishop and Chris Wellham got tries there for Sheffield Eagles, who really improved this season, but they went down to the Panthers. London Broncos 22, Newcastle Thunder 52, Widnes Vikings 56, Whitehaven 16. In Betfred League 1, big shout out for West Wales Raiders. They won their first game since 2019. They won away from home 20 points to 0 at Cornwall. Hunslet 16, Swinton Lions 28, Keighley Cougars 40, Rochdale Hornets 16, London Scholars 12, Doncaster 44, and North Wales Crusaders, they keep rolling. They beat Oldham by 30 points to 16. So that leaves the league tables looking like this. North Wales Crusaders are 8 from 8, top of the Betfred League 1. Keighley Cougars are second. They're unbeaten as well. They've won 7 from 7. Then come Rochdale Hornets, Swinton, Doncaster and Hunslet in the playoff places. Featherstone Rovers are top of the championship. They're still unbeaten with 10 wins and a draw from 11 matches. Leigh Centurions are second, York City Knights, Halifax Panthers, Batley Bulldogs and Barrow Raiders. The fixtures for this week in the Championship, I'm running out of steam here. On Saturday, gets underway this week. Bradford Bulls against Newcastle Thunder at 6 o'clock. Featherstone Rovers face Whitehaven at 5:30. Betfred League 1 on Saturday, Rochdale Hornets are at home to Doncaster. The match on the Our League app at 2 o'clock between Swinton and Cornwall. West Wales Raiders are at home to Hunslet at 3 o'clock. And on Sunday in the Betfred Championship, Batley host London Broncos. Dewsbury are at home to Barrow Raiders. Leigh Centurions face Workington Town. York City Knights face Halifax Panthers. They're all 3 o'clock games. The Betfred League 1 on Sunday, Keighley Cougars are at home to Midlands Hurricanes, and there's one game on Monday the 23rd of May. That's the television match on Premier Sports between Sheffield Eagles and Widnes in the Championship. Another marathon report this week. That's all I've got for you. Take care, have a good week. I'll see you at the AJ Bell on Friday night for Salford against Castleford Tigers.
Outside's World of Rugby League, and now we'll look forward to all the games this week. So we'll start off with the reserves, Paul. They're in action against Bradford at home at the AJ Bell on Saturday. Obviously, after last week's sort of draw against Castleford, hopefully they can go. Last week's defeat against St Helens, the last game at home they drew against Castleford. Hopefully they can get over the line and win this one.
What time do you kick off that one, Rob?
I think it's 12:45. 12:45 Sunday. Sorry, 22nd.
Oh, Sunday.
Sunday the 22nd, 12:45 Bradford home.
I was just thinking I'm working Saturday and I would have tried to bob in, and I'll have to try and see if I can get there Sunday. I'm supposed to go on holiday Sunday, but we shall see, because I'd like to get down to watch the reserve. I love to get to watch as much rugby as I can, but it might be a bit out of my way this week. But no, another tough game for them. You know, Bradford struggling a bit in the Championship, aren't they? They've got a few ex-Salford players in their side. I'm not so sure who'll be playing in their reserve team, but that's an ideal opportunity, I think, for the reserves to pick up 2 points, I think, there at the weekend.
Yep, at home to Bradford. 12:45 kickoff, Paul. Bradford faced Huddersfield last week and lost 30 points to 18. Ollie Roberts was a try scorer from Huddersfield, so he's an ex-Red. So hopefully, like I say, you know, if we get a result there, and you know, we've got some good lads as well involved in that reserves team, and you know, if they just get a bit of confidence, get a bit of wins under the belt, anything can happen.
Yeah, and one thing I've noticed with the reserves is we've not really used it like a lot of other clubs use it to play a lot of the first team players, and don't they are players that are coming back from injury. We've not really used it like that. We've got a lot of young lads playing in that as well, which I think is testimony to the club. So if we've got guys who are on the fringes at the moment coming back from injury, perhaps some of them will get used, and that'll help the younger lads, give them that bit more of experience. But no, that's another tough game for them at the weekend, and let's hope they can get a result against Bradford because it's well needed.
Yeah. So let's talk about the ladies. They're in action on, I think it's Saturday. They play Hull Kingston Rovers away. So that'll be a tough contest after sort of last week's joyous moment. You don't know how much it would have took out of them, the cup win.
No, that's right. Another away fixture. But I mean, if you ask the ladies, they probably prefer playing away games, don't they? All travelling together and having that camaraderie and buzz that they seem to have. They seem to have a fantastic team spirit. And that's another tough test going to Hull. Whether you go there to play, domino, snooker, or rugby league, it's always tough going to Hull, isn't it? It's a tough place to go, a bit of a long trip, but no, I'm sure they're looking forward to it. I'm sure looking forward to another big test. Did Hull Carr win in the League Cup? I know they played Hull, didn't they? I did read the results out on my World of Rugby League, and
18-14. It was like a golden point try,
right?
Or Hull KR, which won on the game. So obviously both teams coming off wins, full of confidence. It's going to be another fantastic game.
It certainly is, yeah. Both teams in a bit of form as well, aren't they? There, so that's going to be another tough test. But I won't put it past the ladies to go there and get a result.
Do you think Chris Bates rotates? Obviously, with the cup semi-final coming up in a few weeks, or does he continue just to play the strongest team?
I think you just carry on with your strongest side, don't you? I've always been that sort of believer in whether it's football, rugby league, or whatever. If a player's fit, why rest them? If they're fit and ready to go, they want to play, don't they? And your adrenaline sometimes will take you through the game anyway. And they've had a good week's rest, haven't they? So yeah, I just stick with it, keep the momentum going. What you don't want to do is sort of rest people and sort of get out of your rhythm then, if you like. So I keep it the same and just keep that momentum going.
Let's talk about the men's team. They're in action against Castleford on Friday. Paul, it'll be obviously a tough contest after victory on Friday, but good teams back up, good performances with 2 wins on the spin, and hopefully Paul Rowley's men can do that.
Well, yeah, Castleford are in pretty good form as well. I mean, they had a pretty poor start to the season. We beat them on the opening day, and I think they lost quite a lot of games after that. It took them a while to pick up a result, didn't it, under the new coach, Lee Radford, and the pressure sort of built a bit there. But I think they've won 5 out of the last 6. So they've done pretty well. They lost to Catalan a few weeks ago. They got stuffed in France. But other than that, I say that, though, but they've not... It's all right to say. It's a funny thing to say, but they've not really been tested like we have. We've been playing the likes of St Helens, Wigan, Warrington, Catalan. We've had some really, really tough fixtures where Castleford, they picked up some wins, but they played Toulouse, Wakefield. They only beat Leeds by 2 points. So, yeah, they've won some games, but I don't think they've had the tough run that we've had. So it'll be a tough game. There's no doubt about that. They've got an awful lot of ex-Salford players in the team as well, haven't they? Like Niall Levels, I don't think Niall played at the weekend, so I don't know whether he's injured or not. But George Griffin's there, Jordan Turner, Gareth O'Brien, George Griffin, so you name it, they play for Cast, don't they? And they've got some firepower in the forwards as well. Like Liam Watts, who's always a danger man there, isn't he? So Devil Allputz as well, I forgot, he's on the wing and scores plenty of tries. Greg Eden, so they've got strike players and a decent pack and a team who likes to throw the ball around. They had a good result the weekend against Hull KR, winning 32-0. So they're in form at the moment. So it'll be a tough test for us.
Obviously, that's the thing that Kurt Haggerty and Paul Rowley talk about, is about consistency in it and backing up one good performance with another. I know sort of historically we kind of struggle with that, but for me, Paul Rowley's a real good coach, experienced coach, and he's been around the block, and he knows how to to motivate his players and what they need to be able to pull out another performance. And I think, with obviously going through the last sort of 5-6 weeks of tough performances and against really good opposition is going to help in these next few games, because obviously we are used to playing at a high level, and also we're battle hardened, aren't we? So we're looking forward to the next few weeks.
Yeah, and belief's a big thing as well, Rob, isn't it? I mean, I said it before about the St Helens game and the Wigan game. They came so close to winning there, and when you come away from the game at the end of the game, the players must be thinking, God, we've had it stolen from us there. We worked so hard and we want to put it right the week after. And you could tell that against Leeds. They felt like there was a bit of injustice the week before at St Helens, and they put so much into it. They wanted the result, and they looked more hungry than Leeds, I thought. And that's what you need to be again this week against Castleford. It's another home game, and a win against the Tigers would give us 10 points. Like I said, Warrington have only got 10 points. And they play St Helens this weekend, and for all the will in the world, I can't see them beating St Helens. So that would, if all things go to plan, that would see us level with them. And then you've got a cluster of teams in the mid sort of table, in and around that top six. And there's still an awful long way to go in the season. There's a lot of rugby league to be played. So, you know, that's got to be our aim at the moment. I think with a fully fit side to pick from, and the resources that we've got in the squad, not the biggest squad in the world, but I think we've got every chance of challenging for that. So. We've had some tough fixtures, like you said, but with these home games coming up, it's about building momentum and being consistent. So 2 wins from 2. You know, if we can get that, we've got a week off then for the Challenge Cup final, so that gives us another bit of a rest. And I think we play OKR away after that.
Yeah.
Which is another tough fixture, but I mean, at the moment, Old Kingston Rovers look like they've been shot to pieces. You know, Tony Smith's announced he's going. They lost 12-0 at Leeds. They've lost 32-0 at the weekend. They got absolutely hammered in the cup semi-final of Huddersfield, so that's another winnable game. But cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's beat Castleford first.
Yeah. Give us your score prediction, Paul.
The League Expresses in my van. What did I put? I can't remember what I put now. What did I put? 28-16 to Salford.
Is there a story behind that?
No, it's funny because I always do my predictions on the back of the paper. Last week I was doing them, and I did them all. I filled them all, and I left Salford's out. I didn't know what to put for Leeds, so I left it out for ages. And like by the end of the week, I decided to fill it in there because I didn't have a clue how the game was going to go. But no, there's no story behind it really. Who would I like to score? I tell you, I'd like to get a try, Brodie Croft, because I think he's worked so hard the last few weeks. I'd love to see him get the winning try. But if we're going to go 28-16, I said, didn't I? Brodie Croft brace.
I'm going to go 18-6 Salford. Tim Laffey to score the winner with 5 minutes to go from 40 yards out.
Can he run that far?
Just fall over the line when he scores.
Well, if he does, he'll have to give it to who's on his wing. It's Burgess on that side, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm sure Joe Burgess will be able to help him out.
Yeah. So that's the end of this week's podcast. Another great show, Paul.
Yeah, really enjoyed it, mate. Yeah, it's been a busy week for you, hasn't it, this week? You're interviewing, and you're a very, very busy man. So, yeah, hopefully get Parky on next week as well when he's not watching blooming football.
Yeah, when he's not decorating his house or watching Liverpool.
He's another busy man.
So big thanks to this week's Devil the Detail podcast. Ira Paxson. You can find us on Facebook, Devil the Detail SRD. You can find us on Twitter at DITDSRD. And you can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Radio Contact, Spotify, and YouTube. See you soon.